What's up, everybody? Welcome to Enters the Lab. So we're gonna kick it off tonight. Y'all already know how we do. It's gonna be a battle. We finna tussle. Cause you know what? The college football playoffs is finna start. Shout out to them Georgia Bulldogs, but we got the Big Ten in the building. So we gonna cut into that. And we're gonna talk some NFL. We're gonna talk about who's on the move, the coaching carousel, the top plays, and then tonight's game, as well as our pick going in to week 13. So let's go ahead and enter the lab. ATL shot.
My fault. What happened? I'm eating Popeye.
This man says he's eating some Popeyes. Commercial.
I'm ready for a break.
Save this clip.
Wipe your hands. Wipe your hands.
Commercial.
We over here about to die thirst over here.
Thing on the menu today, bro, and that's work. That's work for 60 minutes, bro. That's the only job we got to do today, bro. What you playing for? What you playing for? What you playing for? What y'all?
Get real lonely with the mic on, bro. Just want to talk to my friends.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Y'all doing good?
What's up, Lady E? I'm doing well. I'm glad to see you on this wonderful Thursday evening. Glad to see DT over there looking like, you know what I'm saying, Dark Vader over there. Hey, what's up, DT? What's good, baby?
What you guys doing tonight?
Y'all, excuse DT. He's because we about to start this segment off in the college ranks, and Ohio State and Michigan. So we're gonna start off really quick before we talk about that, because again, at this point, we all know what happened. I still don't understand why y'all got the y'all set up like that, so why y'all beat up on each other like that. But the big game between the Michigan Wolverines and the Ohio State Buckeyes took place last Saturday. Michigan kind of showed its dominance. And for 3 years in a row, Ryan Day has not been able to get it done. So I'm going to start with you, Henry. Tell me your thoughts about the game, and what's good. Like we're gonna wake DT up here a little bit.
First of all, I just, what I'm saying, you saying that 3 years in a row. I mean, that was like hot honey chicken hitting my palate right there. That just really gets me really, really excited. We was down for so many years, but I mean, first and foremost, the whole championship weekend, man, we were treated to some great games. Hats off to all of the teams who participated this past week, because it was truly a treat after Thanksgiving. I was down a little bit about my Lions, but that weekend, that Saturday slate was excellent. And again, man, the Michigan Wolverines, baby, go blue with our backup coach. Yes, our backup coach. You know what I'm talking about? Sharon. Yes, sir. 3 in a row over the Ohio State Buckeyes, man. Hey, man, we just crush nuts, man. That's what we do here. Crush nuts.
I'm so dead. DT, go ahead and chime in a little bit. Chime in a little bit, because I know you got something to say.
I don't even know what to say, man. Like, I was, for the first time in years, I was extremely confident in the defense. I felt like everything was in place. The only thing that concerned me, and I knew two things that was going to concern me that I've seen this whole year, was special teams and the quarterback position. And I'm going to save majority of that in my special mano time with the camera of the lovely people. But it was a hard-fought game, and it's like what I told the basketball team last night, after they won their first game of the year, said you can't wither when the storm comes. You cannot wither when the storm comes. You got to have the mental toughness to battle out because it's going to be 4 quarters of them punching you in the mouth. When you going to throw the sucker punch? And I got to say the rest of it. But all I got to say is, man, there's a lot of questions about this team right now. Definitely a lot of questions about Ryan Day, how mentally tough they are. What are the things that has been gone since Urban Meyer has left? And you can say what you want about Urban Meyer as probably a human being, most likely. We care about the ethics and morals. But that man, he prepared his teams for this game. He prepared them every single day. And players in the NFL today, they probably hated it back then. But it was a way of life. It was the biggest ever. It was bigger than even probably winning a national championship, to be completely honest with you. This is the way. And I just feel like we're getting away from that because of the 12-team playoffs, the 14 playoffs, getting more opportunities to get in national championship, NIL deals, and all these things that has popped up in 2023. It's a different time now. And congratulations, C. Henry. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think Sherrone Moore is going to have a great future being a head coach of another program. And as much as I despise people, I always look for a brother to get an opportunity. And he got a tremendous opportunity with 2 top 10 teams in his own conference, and he outcoached 2 of them. And I'm going to give my hat off to that. But it's a lot of questions right now about Ohio State, man. And you got USC, you got Oregon, Washington, UCLA, a brand new landscape coming. So you can be excited about getting the 12th or 6th seed one. I'm not going to be excited. I've had high expectations, and that's all I got to say.
Yeah. I mean,
we just want to thank you, man. We want to thank y'all for letting a couple of those players, man, like Rob Moore, man, right there from Clayton, Ohio. 3-star recruit. Y'all said he wasn't good enough, man. He came right across the border, baby, and he made a play, made the interception that sealed the game, man. He right up there. He made an interception last year, so he right up there with the greats that have crossed the line, like Charles Woodson, like Desmond Howard, like Elvis Gerlach. And today, we just signed Mr. Ohio. I'm sorry, not signed. He was already committed, but Mr. Ohio, Jordan Marshall, running back from Ohio, coming to cross that border once again up to Michigan. Go Blue. Let's go. Let's go.
All I'm going to say is
sights on Georgia now. Sights on Georgia now. Let's go. Let's talk about the playoffs.
He said sights on. First of all, worry about winning the Big Ten championship first.
Hey, DT.
They're going to win that.
DT, I got some nuts here.
You just antagonizing this man.
No, the Ohio State fan, they be talking to us all year. They be talking to us real disrespectfully all year. They kind of like the Saints, the Saints and the Falcons. They be just going, all year. Hey, crush nuts. Let's get it.
Nasty word.
Look, look, all I'm going to say is this. Nobody should be eyeing Georgia right now. Y'all need to focus on yours because Georgia's going to focus on what they got to go do. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Repeat, incoming. But, yes, college football playoffs. We are now into championship weekend. We're coming down. There's been some talks about that last little bit in that 5, 6, 7 range of what would happen in the scenarios of everything and stuff like that. At the end of the day, we already know that Michigan is pretty much going to solidify their spot. It could be either number 1, could be number 2, just depending on where everything else will fall. But we all know that they're going to solidify their spot. Florida State actually can solidify their spot as well. But here comes the issue. You got Georgia and Alabama coming up. Then you got Washington and Oregon coming up. So I'm gonna start with you, DT. What are you kind of thinking of how the final rankings are going to come out in this after this championship weekend? Because again, we got championship Sunday, and everything is going to be told around Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay.
Yeah, so when we looking at the college football playoff, we know that the key games are going to be in the Pac-12, the SEC, and the Big 12 because all those three teams, you have 3 one-loss teams. You have Oregon, you have Texas is undefeated, right?
No, they got one loss.
No, they got that
Oh,
loss to
yeah.
Oklahoma.
So Texas lost to Oklahoma. Then you have Alabama, and those 3 conferences. The Pac-12 has been boosted with a lot of the great teams this year. Washington has looked so good so far, but it's something scary about this Oregon team, man. They put points up there, and then they got some guys on defense that can fly around and make plays. I told my dad he's a big Michael Penix fan, but man, I got a feeling about this Oregon team, man. They might come shock the world tomorrow night. But also the Big 12, like Oklahoma State, they've been underrated, under the radar this year. A lot of course, you have Oklahoma, then you have Texas. Solid unit. I'm kind of curious how would Texas come in with the lights on them at 12 o'clock. Are they going to play up to their potential, or they're going to play down to their opponent? Because in my opinion, I feel like Texas has the most talent on that team in the Big 12, but for some reason, when it comes to playing certain teams, they kind of play a little bit down to their opponents then and there, like 2017, when I think it should be like a 37-7 type game. Defensive line is pretty stout. The defense can make plays when it needs to. Quinn Ewers, hopefully he's kind of recovered from the shoulder just a little bit. They got the weapons. Xavier Worthy is something you need to watch. I think he's a game time decision with that ankle he had last week. The chaos is definitely going to be in the SEC as well, because Bama, for what it's worth, they show games where they definitely should have lost, but they find a way to win, and they're definitely going to play up to par when they head to the Georgia Dome to play on the Georgia Bulldogs. So this is probably the best year to have some more chaos right before we go to this 12-team format, because in my opinion, if we're looking at these 3 teams, you have Oregon that will be playing the 4th team, which is Washington. You have Texas that has beaten Alabama, and they're going to have a shot to win their conference. But you have Alabama that has surged ever since that loss, and they look like definitely the best team on paper to go up the par with Georgia. And I could definitely see a scenario if Georgia lose, and Georgia will definitely still make the playoffs because, they're the number 1 team in the country and the resume is there for them as well. But if you get in the log jam with those 3 teams, with Oregon, Texas, and Alabama, I'm glad I'm not making decisions. That's all I got to say. Because somebody's going to be hot. Somebody's going to be cussing me in my emails. I'm just going to, hey, look, I don't get paid enough.
I'm mad that Henry got these 2 hands. And ain't the one hand, it's 2 hands.
I clocked that, man. I'm not teaching no kids, man. It's 6 o'clock.
No. I just, what I'm saying, I just want, I want you to get your stuff on. But what do you mean? When you said when you say Alabama looks most ready to go toe to toe with Georgia, what do you? I want to know. I just want you to clarify that. Out of all the teams,
obviously,
SEC, or what we talking about?
Well, in the SEC and as a team as a whole, I mean, Alabama has clearly been the second best team in the SEC this year, despite some of the games they have had. I mean, they show resiliency. Early in the year, they benched Milroe, which I get it at the time, but clearly he was the best of the bunch, and he still was growing every single game. Sometimes you got to let these guys play, and you've seen down the stretch, he has had a total of at least 12 to 15 touchdowns passing and rushing. The defense has been solid overall. Really, with LSU, they have the offense, but they didn't have the defense. That was my main concern with LSU this entire season. And we saw that the first game, they already have 3 losses on the year. So with Georgia, we seen Georgia this year. They started slightly slow, but now you're starting to see the offense pick up its pace, see the defense pick up its pace. So this is going to be a heavyweight match. We know how everybody loves the SEC, not trying to throw shade, but it is one of the best conferences, the best conference in football right now. So there's going to be eyes. Everybody's going to be watching it. Media is going to be watching it. Everybody knows about Alabama, Nick Saban, the patriarch of college football, and your guy in Georgia. He's got it coming up after him. So clearly, I just think with Alabama, I think they're going to be the one that's going to cause the most chaos in the college football playoffs on the ranking side.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting right there.
I mean, what besides that thought, what else do you have about that? Again, because you guys are sitting at number 2 right now. Again, like I said, y'all already kind of solidified y'all position in the college football playoff. So where do
you're gonna stop dismissing Iowa? You know what I'm saying? They are ranked 16th in the country. They in the Big Ten. They 10-2. It's probably
going to upset.
Well, no, I'm not calling an upset, but I mean, anything can happen. Somebody get hurt, JJ go down. We don't know what can happen. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen a backup quarterback, and what he can do in extended playing time. So, all options are open, and we never know what Ohio State gonna do. They might be still sharing, what they know, the intel with, like they did with last year with Iowa, whatever. So. We don't know who's against us, baby. Michigan versus everybody. So with this said, and also, Cade McNamara, the former quarterback, is over there at Iowa. Eric All, the former tight end, is over there at Iowa. So they're going to have an intimate knowledge of a lot of things that we like to do. So I won't dismiss them. Actually, for all you bettors out there, I'm telling you to take the points. I don't know if we're going to beat them by 22s. I think they're going to slow the game down. And I think that actually we're going to probably be in run the ball mode too, trying to get in there, get the win, and get out there as healthy as possible. But don't dismiss them with that. But also, I like the Alabama-Georgia game. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. But I also like the Washington-Oregon game because, again, Washington won that game. It was a very, very close game. I don't know what happens to teams who lose this late. You know what I'm saying? If Georgia loses, do they still make the playoff? I think it kind of depends on how they lose. You know what I mean? When you look at Alabama, yes, they can definitely beat Georgia. Not like they can beat them, but if they beat them, they become interesting. But at that point, now Texas becomes interesting because Texas beat them in Tuscaloosa and beat them by 10. It wasn't a 2-point victory. It wasn't a neutral site game. It wasn't a game in Texas. They beat them by 10. They was up by 7 at halftime. They outscored them 21-8 in the fourth quarter. So we're talking about a team that control the game. So if they happen to win and Alabama happens to win, both of these teams are going to be able to jump Ohio State at 6 because, of course, Ohio State's done. We eliminated them. They out of there. They out of there right now. Right now, as it stands right now, they out of there. So I think they can jump up. But at the same time, we cannot dismiss that loss that Alabama took from Texas. So if Alabama wins, it's actually, to me, and Texas win, it's going to maybe eliminate a second SEC team being in the Final Four because we cannot dismiss what Texas did against them early in the year. Now, Washington, Oregon. If Washington wins, I think everything is all good. If Oregon wins, now we talking about, do they jump somebody? Can they possibly jump a Florida State team that can possibly be undefeated? Without their quarterback, a lot of people are looking at them kind of shaky. They were in the ACC with solid year this year, but not the year of a Pac-12, not the year of a Big Ten, not the year of an SEC. So I think that they can have it can be shaky there with them. And I'm also, listen, I know Louisville lost to Kentucky last week. That was part of rivalry week. But with that being said, with this new quarterback, Louisville might upset Florida State. That I don't think that's completely out of the realm of possibility. I don't think that's completely out of the realm of possibility. And if that happens, now we got a number of one-loss teams. Say Oregon beats Washington. How does that work? Now we got possibly 2 undefeated teams with Georgia and hopefully Michigan winning, and then we've got 3 or 4 one-loss teams. How do we break that down? If we jump up, Alabama, if they lose, they won't be in it. But how do we choose between the Texas and the Oregon and the Washington? If Oregon wins convincingly, I think their case will be made. But if it's another 2 or 3 point victory for Oregon, do we penalize Washington and drop them down out of the top 4? Do we jump Texas up? So it's a lot of intrigue and going to happen this week. Basically, we started the playoff last week a little bit, in my opinion. We're going to see a lot of games that's going to determine a lot of the outcomes come Sunday. How do you feel about it, Lady E?
Go Dogs, but no. I really am going to say this. You make a good point about the points. I think that's going to be the main thing that the committee is really, really going to look into is how bad the loss is. I don't think people realize that, again, like you said, 10 points. Texas only beat Alabama by 10. If it was a straight blowout where it was like 12, 13, 14, a whole 2-score, 3-score, then we would probably be having a different conversation about that Alabama team with that loss. But I think that's what is really going to come down to it, because when you're looking at those one-loss teams, they're going to look at their whole body of work from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. But then they're also going to hone in on those key tough matchups. If it was a loss, what was the point differential? Then if it was them, winning, like, again, Alabama in that LSU game, Alabama in that freaking Auburn game, unranked Auburn. And it took like that. That's like those type of games. Yes, Alabama won. I get that. But at the same token, those types of games, the committees are like, okay, they were shaky here, but then they were good. Texas, that Oklahoma loss wasn't a very, the score may have, that was a beatdown. Oklahoma beat them.
I will say this. They definitely was a beatdown, but that's considered actually a rivalry game as well. And they were playing without Quinn. So,
but see,
I think
but if you're going to take that, how many other teams who are playing besides this not playing without their quarterback, but how many other teams were playing out with their top players? Like Georgia, for instance. I'm gonna be honest with you. Georgia, for instance, we all know what was the question going on once we locked Brock Bowers? Can Georgia still be dominant? Are they going to lose? Can they win without Brock?
Nobody asked about Brock Bowers and y'all dominance.
They were.
Man.
They were.
But y'all didn't lose though. So I mean, it's a mute point.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But it could be a mute point even for Texas, because even without Quinn, they still won the next and still dominated majority of those games. But that was just that one game. But then Oklahoma turned around and got their ass smacked by Oklahoma State.
So the same team that Texas is about to play tomorrow.
If everybody holds serve at the top, right? I don't want to say favorite because I know that Oregon is favored over Washington. I'm gonna still give Washington the nod because they beat them. You know what I mean? Yeah. But if everybody holds serve, then it's null and void. I think we have to have somebody kind of lose in that top 3 or 4 before that comes into play. But again, and it's just my opinion. I think that they had a bad loss to Oklahoma with without their quarterback or whatever. But the team that we're possibly jumping them for is not Oregon, would be Alabama, a team that you beat by 10 points. And to me, 10 points is for Alabama beating Alabama. Georgia, the only team that be handling Alabama like that on their field. Georgia, the only team that do that. 10 points is a convincing win for me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So, and it'll be hard for Alabama to jump them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Alabama would jump Texas. I'll be honest with you, even if they do win the SEC, I don't think that they're going to jump Texas, because that when you go back and you look at how dominant that win was still for Texas, it shows. And then I already know, even though we're not supposed to go back and go look, but they're going to look at that loss too, that Texas took to Alabama, and try to look at the difference between it, because you already know the committee gonna do what the committee gonna want to do. But in the same token, they're going to do a compare and contrast. How many teams have Alabama beat that was ranked? How many teams have Texas beat that was ranked? And then that's how that determination is going to go. But right now, Texas is ranked above Alabama. I don't see them jumping over 2 teams. I don't see them doing that. I don't see them jumping Alabama
if they beat Georgia. I mean, if they beat Georgia, that would be probably the biggest win of the year for anybody.
But for them, but in the same token, depending on the loss that Georgia has, if it's more than a 10-point loss, then yes, I could see them making that argument. But if it's 10 points or less, there's no argument to be made because again, it could have been a last-second field goal. It could have been what they did against Auburn, a last-second touchdown. We're not rushing to, by the way, but things like that could happen. But if it was a dominant blowout, then yeah, I can see that. But I don't see them blowing out Georgia really like that, to be honest with you.
Even if they win by 3 at that point, if Alabama wins by 3, right? Mm-hmm. Say they don't jump. When I say jump, I really mean get in the top 4, but we can look at it either way. If they don't jump ahead of Texas, but Texas wins, it's going to be hard to keep Texas out as well. That's my point. Like if Alabama beats Georgia, Texas beats whoever, Oklahoma State. And they decide that that Alabama is going to be in the top 4. Mm-hmm. At that point, you can't. It's almost, I'm not going to say impossible, but it's unfathomable that you can keep out Texas. Alabama win and a Texas win actually helps.
Here you go. But you want to know it helps both of them. But if that happens, guess who's going to have a legit argument that that Alabama shouldn't jump in?
Who?
Hey, DT.
Oh no, they can't improve themselves.
No, I know that, but they did that last year though. Remember when USC lost?
But it's a different. This is a different year. They don't need they need everybody to lose.
Okay, so
they need Michigan. They need everybody to lose.
The main reason why Ohio State, in my opinion, got in last year because I'm gonna be completely honest. One, everybody, even though they did lose by 20 plus points, they still felt like they were one of the best teams based on the talent and obviously the brand. It was a brand move last year to put Ohio State up against Georgia, and to be honest with you, that game lived in that was basically the national championship game last year, not the TCU game. So even like for this year, like
you see that slight shade they do is just threw up in there. You know what I'm saying? You see that slight shade? That wasn't enough. We know it wasn't. It was a semifinal game, to be honest with you. Both of them.
It was the national championship. It was the national championship because either way, one of those teams was going to beat the brakes off of TCU.
The bottom line is this: there's not 7 or 8 good teams. There were not 7 or 8 deserving teams last year, like there is this year. To me, that's how I see it. Last year it was 2 or 3 teams, and then they were on the fringe. Couple teams lost. They were able to get in. This year is legitimately 6 or 7 deserved teams out of the 8. 6 or 7 deserved teams who, if they finish their season strong, will have a legit, I think, reason or gripe, if you will, to make the leap over Ohio State.
Yeah, but you already know Ryan Day making a gripe though.
This is my problem with the college football committee, and we're talking about just Texas and Georgia. Not Georgia, Texas and Alabama. You look at their resume; both of them had the head-to-head competition. Texas beat them at their house, but then afterwards, if you really look at it, I just looked at it. All the games for both of these teams have slightly been similar. So, like, if I really had to be honest with you, I would say Bama improved more after the loss than Texas improved after they won. And you look at the games and the eye test and stuff that, yes, both of them have lost, but the committee will always go to the team that has the hot hand and the team that's always going to have the higher tier, bigger matchup.
I don't buy into. I don't know about that. I hear what you're saying, but when a team, these two teams are vying for a spot, and again, they went head to head. If we're gonna do that, then we might as well just eliminate the regular season. But
that's the whole reason.
That's what about to get to
it. That's why I said they're about to expand that because of that. Because
the
really,
regular season next year, it's not even gonna matter.
Like
I won't say it won't matter because next year we'll have 12 teams. I'm pretty sure the top 4 teams will get a bye. And then you're going to have 8 teams. Now it's it's not going to be as we're going to see some 2-loss teams in there. We're going to see some 2, maybe 3-loss teams in there, no doubt. But I think it's still going to matter. But what we don't want to do, because again, we got the super conferences coming. We don't want to have seasons where these teams are not going to play games like Texas and Alabama, because they're going to the same conference now, but before they were from 2 different conferences. We want to see some of these cross conference games, sectional games once in a while. We're not going to see 3 or 4 of them, but we want to see once in a while. If there's no benefit from playing them, then they'll team to just line up scrubs and just try to get the best record possible.
Well, the thing is, the committee is going back to what they already said that it was going to be. Is if you made it to your conference championship and you won, you're supposed to automatically be in. But over the course of the year, we have seen that not to be true when it comes down to it. So I think with this is what the whole reason is. If you make it to the conference championship, and I think it's whether you win or lose, but if you make it to the conference championship, then you're in. It'll just be the last little buying spots at that bottom of who gets the deserve. But yeah, like again, I'm not gonna say the regular season is not gonna matter, but it's not gonna hold as much weight as what it's holding right now, to be honest with you. Because when you look at it, like you said, these super conferences, Texas and Oklahoma moving to the SEC, and now you got Georgia. We play both. We play both. The first season that they're in, we play next year. We play both. We play Oklahoma and we play Texas, and then right along with it, we play Alabama. So our schedule has actually legitimately got a lot tougher than what it has been in the past. So again, this is setting ourselves up to try to keep the SEC one above, but it won't have that argument. And the same thing with you guys over there in the Big Ten. I think y'all are getting rid of y'all divisions finally, and now it's going to be beat up season because now you got UCLA, USC coming over there. Who else?
Oregon, Washington.
So now it's beat up season. So you guys are expanding and it's making it so it's going to be kind of hard not to have that discussion. Now the ACC, I don't think the ACC added any quality teams, to be honest with you, to kind of propel them. Big 12 to me didn't really add any quality teams to their conference either. So it's going to be a little bit hard. And then the Pac-12 ain't the Pac-12 no more. But it's really pretty much what we're going to be looking at. I feel like majority of the teams that do come out next year is going to be from the Big 12 and the SEC, honestly.
So
Big 10, I'm sorry.
I want to point this out. I just looked it up. I might be wrong. Might have to do some more research. But since the 2014 playoff was installed, there has been 5 non-championship winning teams in their conference that have made the playoffs. That has been
Alabama and
Ohio State, Georgia, and Notre Dame.
Yep. Well, we can't consider. I don't consider Notre Dame, honestly.
I understand, but
yeah. But no, yeah, that literally, what it is.
The top teams, they have had an opportunity.
Didn't Wisconsin was undefeated that one year? Weren't they undefeated, or did they make it to the conference championship and they didn't get in? But Ohio, I think it was like Ohio State get in.
I think they may have had one loss.
One loss.
It was Penn State. Penn State didn't make it. It was the 2016.
Okay, so I'm like, who was it that literally deserved to get in, but they didn't make it? Okay, so yeah, it's. Again, I feel like this expansion that's coming is going to help a lot of this and alleviate a lot of this issue that we're talking about right now. Because again, there's going to be a loss. I mean, not every team is going to make it out, undefeated. Especially now with these conferences coming up to where they're going to come up. I don't think a lot of people are going to make it out like that.
And I know we got to transition, but I think it's going to make it a little bit cloudier because, like you said, if you don't make what if you have a tremendous team like Ohio State who doesn't make their conference championship or whatever, now teams that, we got 12 teams. So now teams 13, 14, 15, 16, they're going to be, why we ain't get in? Or why we, because they're not going to be a champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So anybody below, to be honest with you, when you think about it, again, when we're looking at it's only 4 big conferences. So really, it's going to be those teams that are in those conferences that don't make the championship, but like, well, hey, we had a good season. We always got close to beating them. So
what about a team like a James Madison or a Boy? I don't want to say James Boise State from like 6-7 years ago when they go 12-0 and they, because I think one or two of these places.
That's fair, C. Henry. That's very fair.
Because I think one or two of these spots are supposed to go to if I think there's some qualifications, but group of 5, I think one or two of these spots could possibly go to a group of 5 if they're ranked in a certain area. So it's gonna be interesting. Somebody's gonna be mad. Why the group of 5? They ain't played nobody.
Exactly.
Next year
is great, man. College football is a great sport, man. A great week. I'm looking forward to this.
Everybody's gonna be tuned in next year. For real. Everybody's gonna be tuned in next year. So can't wait. So we're gonna switch gears and go over here to the National Football League. And, we're going to talk about this coaching carousel, these coaching firing. A lot of these teams didn't come out this season like a lot of the fans hoped their team was going to come out. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of why haven't this dude been fired since then? What's going on with all of that? Like, it's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, I'm just going to tell y'all that. So what do you guys think? What, Henry, we're gonna start with you because I'm gonna go ahead and shout out to LeBron and them. But we're gonna talk about the Panthers. They fired their coach mid-season after not even completing a full year because he's not able to get what the owner wants out of Bryce Young. How do you feel about that coach firing over there in the good Carolina?
You know what? I have very little insight on that one because I didn't see that one coming. 1 year, the roster wasn't that great. Frank Reich is out. He's supposed to be an offensive-minded coach, former quarterback, former offensive coordinator, head coach, and the Indianapolis coach had a little bit of success there. But I'm kind of flabbergasted by this one again. He got fired, and then the next day it seemed like, the owner came out talking about a deal that they possibly had on the floor at the draft, and it kind of sounded like we thought we was going to get up to 2 or whatever they thought they were going to do, and it kind of sounded like we were going to think about drafting C.J. Stroud, but he didn't quite say that. But it was given like, I don't even know if I want this guy. So they're in shambles over there, and I don't know if I've heard some folks say that it's probably not the most desirable job out there. We're gonna see, because every time somebody says someone has a bad owner and they can't get a coach. In my many years of watching football, I've seen a number of bad owners get whoever they want. You know what I'm saying? We saw Dan Snyder. He would get whoever kind of he wants. Steve Spurrier, whoever. You know what I mean? So interesting to see who's going to take that job. But it looks like a mess over there, man. And if I'm Bryce Young, I might be looking like, man, I might need to get up out of here.
Maybe. What are your thoughts, DT?
Yeah. So with the Carolina situation, I went to school in North Carolina, and so I have watched literally a lot of Carolina games during my time in college. Majority of my friends, college friends, treat like brothers, stuff like that. Carolina Panthers fans, and I talked to one of them last Sunday about it. We had a long, late discussion, and he brought up the moment that they hired Frank Reich, he knew it wasn't going to work out, which was very nasty. I said, like, bro, like, it looks like they building something. Like, you got all these quarterback QB minds up here, all this offensive mind to help out get a guy like Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. Like, and even though, like, I did want Carolina to take CJ Stroud, but I just think right now, looking at the talent around the quarterback itself is just not good enough. From the offensive line, the skill position, they traded away their number one receiver to trade up and get the quarterback, and you're having wide receivers struggling to gain separation against corners, and they're running literally almost the same type of defense every week, making Bryce Young have to make ridiculous throws then and there. So it just right now, it's just a malpractice of building the talent around the team for their quarterback. And that goes from the GM and owner. You got to get the right people in place to build this thing. And I just feel like, okay, I understand firing him, but You just they've been going through coaches like flies, ain't they? Like, how many coaches they had since Ron left, yo?
3.
3 coaches?
3 coaches.
Oh man, yo, like
Yeah, because they had the coach that's the coach of Nebraska now. I forgot his name, but he came from Baylor. They wanted him. Yeah,
Matt
they
Rule.
wanted him, Matt Rule from Baylor, and then they had Patrick Willis. Well, after they fired Matt Rule, but a lot of the Panthers fans that I knew, they actually wanted to actually keep him. They didn't see there was anything for that, so they didn't want to let him go. And then once they let him go, they hired Frank. So that's 3 coaches in 3 years.
Well,
they're still paying Rule, by the way. Just want y'all to know that as well.
Big bro Temper, he got to stay away, man. Like, you don't try to be like the last guy I just got out of my building. You got you starting to look like his cousin now. I'm just saying, you tempering, bro.
Are we talking about blood cousin, or are we talking about first, second cousin? Which one are we talking about?
Whatever you wanted to be, he started to act like a little boy. And I think this team would be better if they have a GM that can properly build this team outside in and out, wherever you have to do it. You have to build this team the right way. Let the football people take over and do things necessary for the football team, and you just be the owner until you feel like, because it seems like to me every time you turn around, somebody sneezes on you, you got to fire them, and that ain't right.
I will say this. It's a slippery slope. Definitely let the football people do the football stuff. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes, as an owner, you don't like what's going on, and you have that right. You have that right to, hey, you don't like what's going on, so tear it down. It's your money. It's your organization. If it goes right, then it's going to be profitable. Hopefully, if it doesn't, then it's your bottom line that's affected. So I don't really have a problem with him, and I ain't gonna lie to you. It sounds like he was not happy with the football stuff that was going on. They made that trade. He got a quarterback that sound like he's not too impressed with. They gave up a large amount of capital for this guy. So it's not going to be able to immediately better the situation right away. They have a number of holes on their team. So, I don't know if this is justified or not. Maybe you see some stuff and you just don't like the way, Wright is moving. I'm gonna tell you right now, if I was the owner of the Pistons right now, I'd be looking at money. I'd be looking at him a little sideways, because we looking terrible out here. You know what I'm saying? So, a little different situation there, but because he turned us down initially, and then we turned up the offer. So he told us no. We should have took that first no. But anyhow, getting back to this. He need to get the right person in there, because I know that's a great region. Very, very strong fan base. They love their football, whether it's Clemson, whether it's the HBCU schools or whatever. They love their football. And if you can get a winning program over there, we saw it with Cam, and even with Jake Delhomme, they went to a Super Bowl. So if you can get it rolling over there, it's pretty good stuff. But he's got to get the right people in place. I'm very interested to see what coaches he can attract over there, because like you said, he had Rule, which was he I don't know who hired. I don't know if he hired. Well, ultimately he hired him, but I don't know if that was a GM situation that brought this guy in. I think this Fitterer, who came from Seattle, that was a bad hire. Steve Wilkes, again, you should have kept him. He's doing a great job as a defensive coordinator right now for the San Francisco 49ers. And then you have, now Wright, who's out after the first year. So he got to get the right people in place. If I'm Scott Fitterer, I'm starting to pack up my house and starting to get ready, because I might have to put it on the market. Tell the wife, hey, start packing stuff up. We don't know what this guy may do, but interesting to see who they bring in there.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I could care less. Shout out to them. I can care less when it comes out to that. So, yeah, again, it's just the whole mess in Carolina at this point in time. I mean, at the end of the day, they got the owner got the QB he wanted. Let's go ahead and say that the owner got the QB that he wanted, and he's gonna sit over here and shake something up. I just can't wait to see what the offseason brings, because all I'm gonna do is be looking at my own team when it comes down to it. So yeah.
So look, I know it's early, but I already seen some rumor mills and all this other stuff. We're talking about your boy, seeing Harry talking about your boy Ben Johnson. Even
Ben Johnson is a hot name going across the NFL right now. So matter of fact, we're gonna come back to the next segment. Let's talk about the off season. We're gonna say the next one for the next one here, but let's talk about the off season. He brought that up because his name is coming up with a lot of teams who are ready to fire their coach, including my own Falcons. So what is your thoughts, baby? Because the rumor mill going on that some teams gonna snatch that man the heck on up on out of there.
Yeah, and that's what happens, what I'm saying, when you have a little bit of success. And I'm gonna tell you like this, wait till we still got what, 7 games left? Because the offense ain't quite been humming them last 2 or 3 games. So we got they may feel a little differently in 4 or 5 weeks. You never know. But his name was hot last year. He turned the not Kansas City. He turned the Carolina job. I shouldn't say turned it down. He took his name out of consideration. I don't know how far he was in that process. But if I'm him, I'm trying to coach up as best I can this year and looking at the possible openings that could open in the NFL. I think I saw, like you said, you brought up Arthur Smith. I think Tampa Bay may be looking at possibly changing their coaches with Todd Bowles.
Basically, put it like this: the whole NFC South is looking to get rid of their whole entire coaching staffs.
Okay, so the whole NFC South.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen in Washington. DT that left us, but yeah, we got to talk about DT, Ron Rivera there, Robert Saleh, and with the Jets. Maybe he gets another year to work with Aaron Rodgers, maybe not. And then if Buffalo doesn't make the playoffs, I've been hearing that Sean McDermott could possibly be on the hot seat. Yeah. There's a couple of teams in there. Buffalo with Josh Allen. Ben probably would jump at that. You got a quarterback already.
And don't forget the Chargers getting ready to get rid of
the Chargers. Yeah, the Chargers. So to me, Buffalo and I almost said San Diego, the LA Chargers are probably the 2 most attractive teams to go to. So if I'm Ben, I'm kind of hoping that something happens with those teams, and I'm looking there. But again, the Jets, if you can get a quarterback over there in that market, that's a wonderful job. Washington has some pieces already in place. You got a quarterback that I see the Hail to the Commanders fan base is trying to get him to a Pro Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So they think highly of him. You got some pieces there. I want Ben to go somewhere, and anybody to go somewhere where they can have some success, where there's already some pieces.
I ain't catch the strays offline.
What happened?
I know I ain't catch the strays offline.
No, you ain't catching strays. I'm talking about How. I'm talking about How for president. Ain't y'all got How for president, How for Pro Bowl?
I heard How for Pro Bowl. Come on now.
Oh Lord.
So yeah, I think there's some other attractive jobs out there, and I'm eager to see if he gets an opportunity. But a name that I want to talk about is what's up with my boy Byron Leftwich? Why he can't get a look at an OC somewhere or a head coaching job somewhere? He won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. Why he can't get no love?
Hey, the way this offseason looking for him. I mean, not offseason, offense looking for him with Baker Mayfield. Yeah.
But he's not the OC there anymore.
I know. I'm just saying, but yeah. That's yeah.
I want my brothers to get some jobs, man. That's all I want. I want my brothers.
Yeah.
To get some jobs.
I mean, that's why I use it. I'm like, it's humming. It is humming.
Let me ask you something. With Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons, that division is still wide open. You guys are in first place right now, right?
Yeah, because we're undefeated in the division.
So if one of those coaches conceivably makes the playoffs, do you think that they will be, even with the losing record or 500 record, will they be fired?
So here's the thing. I'm going to say this. Our owner, the way Unc Blank, good old Uncle Blank, the way he operates is he's going to give whoever a chance. He holds on to coaches a little bit too long. Okay, we held on to Dan Quinn a little bit longer than what we needed, but he was promised to go back to the Super Bowl again. He was promised that. So he's going to, he's going to hold everybody. He's a good mobster. He's going to hold you to a promise until you just piss him off.
Or break your legs.
Exactly. But I think with Arthur Smith, because of the situation, and this is where it becomes a little bit tough, is because of the situation. He was inherited a team that had a bad salary cap. He couldn't even sit over here and do anything with it, as we all know. Blank stepped in, messed up his plan with Matt Ryan and the whole Deshaun Watson situation. That should have never happened. When the plan was Matt Ryan for 2 years, and then we're going to draft a quarterback, let them learn underneath him, and then we can go from there. Blank kind of messed that up for that. So I think even after this season, he's leaving it up to Terry and Arthur Smith. So the person that's going to make the determination is not going to be Arthur Blank. It's more than likely going to be Terry, because Terry was hired after Arthur Smith was hired. So that's not his guy that he's going to sit with that. So if he feels that it is, but I do feel like this: if they do keep him, Arthur Smith has to relinquish the play calling. It's either you get fired or relinquish the play calling. That's what it's going to be down to. He needs to bring in an offensive coordinator. There needs to be some creativity when it comes down to the red zone plays. We got so many athletes on our team not to be dominant in the red zone. Like, you should be throwing the ball to the 6'6" tight end. Okay.
he needs to definitely improve on his quarterback development with Ritter. Definitely get those weapons involved. But he got to give my boy Bijan the rock, though. I don't know what the problem is. The same situation I think that we saw a little bit early with Gibbs being here and Montgomery. I mean, but I don't think Algier is Montgomery. I'm not knocking Algier, but I don't think he's the caliber of back of Montgomery. Bijan is clearly, I mean, you drafted him at 6. He is clearly a do-it-all back. Why haven't they given him the ball more earlier in the season, kind of to let him establish himself?
They try to make an excuse to try to say that they don't want him to get ran down because it's easy for him to get ran down. I think it was because, again, this game against the Saints, this was the best I've seen on my offensive line when it comes down to run blocking. The run blocking wasn't there in the beginning of the season. We saw that. The run blocking was my whole right side. My 2 people that I just signed in the offseason and gave a contract weren't looking like they were looking the season before. Kyle Pitts coming off of an injury. You can tell he's still not 100%. We all know it takes 2 years before you can come back from an MCL injury. We all know that. Then, again, Ritter turnover prone. Honestly, we're just going to keep it and keep it $150 for this one. He's just a pick guy. He's just a turnover guy, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Can we try to get that out of him? Yeah. Can we try to make him conscious decisions? Yeah. But I feel like Arthur Smith didn't set him up for success either when it came down to it. So again, there's a lot riding on that. If I put it to you like this, if we do succeed and able to win the division, go to the playoffs, yeah, that's it. That the ultimatum is get fired or give up go find an offensive coordinator. That's going to be the sentiment. If we don't make the playoffs or we don't win the division, Blank is going to have a real long sit down with Arthur Smith. I still don't think that he'll get fired, but it's going to be a real long sit down, and it's going to be one of those sit downs that, look here, bruh. I'm telling you to relinquish the play calling. You got to let it go.
Last call for alcohol.
Last call for alcohol. Because I think at that point, if we don't start off on the positive note in 2024, we're going to be the Panthers with firing our coach in the middle of the year. That's
I will say this, just like the comment that's on the screen from shout out to the Hawk TV. I would love to see Raheem Morris get another shot at being a head coach. I think he was very, very young when he got that shot earlier. I think he's in LA as defensive coordinator. I may be wrong, but he's been a couple of places since then. He's had a very, very strong showing, or he's done well. And I think that he definitely deserves another shot. I think Dan Quinn may get another shot because he's done a great job with the defense in Dallas. I'm hearing, of course, Ben Johnson. I'm hearing a lot of Sean Waldrum, the guy who's the offensive coordinator, I guess, in Seattle. I guess he's somehow from the Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay coaching tree. Those are the hot names right now. So
yep, with those coaching trees.
Yeah, so I think they're going to get some opportunities. But again, I heard I think it was Ian Rappaport said that there could be as many as 10 openings this offseason. That's crazy. That's a lot.
believe
That's
it.
a
Yeah,
lot.
and the thing about it is, I believe it because again, like I said before, this season it played out to where a lot of people played out. I'm not blaming the draft. I'm not blaming the off season. I just don't think the teams were there. Honestly, I honestly really don't think the teams were there this year, like we thought they were. Because again, you're getting a lot of surprises with some teams, doing that. But again, I think injury has played a major role into it. I just don't think the quarterbacks were prepared this year, especially a lot of them. We did have a lot of new starters with a lot of teams. Again, Derek Carr, you had Baker Mayfield, you had, your rookies coming in, Bryce Young, AR-15, CJ Stroud. You had a lot of newbies. It was a lot of new things going on with a lot of teams. And I just don't think, I mean, even, with the Baltimore Ravens, them getting a new OC and them trying to figure things out in the beginning of the season. So I think it's a shot. Matt Canada getting fired. You know what I mean? He's getting fired from over there from the Steelers after we've seen some questionable things from him. So again, I just feel like it wasn't what a lot of people expected this season, honestly. So, DC, you want to chime in?
Yeah. Look at this comment right here. Commander Shahaya Raheem Morris, head coach. If I'm not mistaken, he was with us a couple years ago when we had Gruden, or I might be tripping, but he was with us at one point. I did hear C. Henry. Like, I definitely agree. He definitely should get another opportunity. He was young at the time. He was still trying to learn the ways of the NFL and how to manage a team. Definitely get an opportunity. I don't know if Washington would consider him. I think they should. I think all candidates have an opportunity. I do like Shane Waldron. He is another guy that nobody really talks about. He was from that Washington tree as well. And, of course, Geno has kind of had his ups and downs. But you look at last year, Geno had a spectacular year within that offense and the weapons they had. So, even just for this team right now, just talking about Washington, obviously they fired Jack Del Rio, and the main problem I have with this staff is this. So if nobody, obviously y'all guys are not really into the Commanders like we are, but so Ron Rivera said that, yeah, I fired Jack Del Rio. There were definitely some things philosophy-wise I didn't agree with. So, and I understand that Jack Del Rio, he was former head coach. He got his own pedigree. Some people are stubborn. But at one point, Ron had all the power when Dan Snyder made him the head coach. He made him the head coach and the GM and the head of football operations. So they mean to tell me you sat there and let this man not only just run the same basic stuff, no color. You let him season your chicken without the right seasoning? Is that what you're telling me now?
Look, that's what I said. I'm like, not the chicken.
Not the chicken. You can't let no imposter season your chicken. I will say this, and I don't know. Again, I don't know the intimate details, but I do think that him and Jack were friends, colleagues, if you will. And sometimes, you want to let your coaches rock. You know what I mean? You may not, you want to let them cook or whatever. You may not agree totally with it. And I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I've just been a middle school coach. That's as far as experienced as I've gone. But there's been times where my friends, got my two best friends. One is the head coach, one is the offensive coordinator, one is the defensive coordinator. And there were times the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator would call things and do things that myself or the head coach may not have agreed with at the time. But we're going to let them rock and see what happens. And we have those coachable and learning, learning moments. Hopefully we can make an adjustment if something goes wrong right then and don't have that problem no more. But sometimes you got to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, this is the issue. I don't really like what happened here. Let's make sure next time we do it better, or we don't do this or we don't do that. And who knows? You know what I'm saying? Ryan may have mentioned a couple things and You know, if JDR felt like, you know, these are pillars of his philosophy and he not going away for it, you know, he's gonna do what's natural to him. Ron may not know exactly what's going on. Then he look up and say, well, why were we in zone, and why are we in cover two, and why are we in man, and why we didn't send pressure? And then, you know, JDR seems like he's a very strong personality as well. He gonna do what he gonna do. He been coaching in this NFL game a long time. Head coach, assistant coach, coordinator. He got checks and money too. So it's like, hey, you fire me, my check's still gonna clear. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna get hired by somebody or be a consultant somewhere. It's not gonna be the end of the world for me. So it could have been a situation where he had talked to him a couple times and he just didn't get through to him. You know, I hope he talked to EB and say, EB, man, listen, you need to run the ball a little bit more. I know the offensive line ain't where it needs to be, but we got a young quarterback and we want him to be viable next year. You know what I'm saying? So run the damn ball. Stop dropping him back 49, 50 times a game. And he getting hit 30 times. You know what I mean? So, but, you know, again, if that's what his philosophy, he feels strongly about it, you know, 72% passing rate.
I agree. Speaking of passer rate, we got rumors here, and I know we're not going to spend too much time on this one, but we got rumors here that Rod is supposed to be making a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
He got cleared to practice, and you know, us as Falcons fans, we're already like, okay, let's see, are they going to play him against us? What's going on? So, but he got cleared to practice, and you know, this is after he went overseas or did something to do a reconstructive Achilles surgery. So yeah, and he's coming back onto the field. So what like I said, I know we're not going to spend that much time on it, but what are y'all guys' thought about Rod possibly coming back after an Achilles injury?
I want to know, did he find Barry Bonds somewhere? Did he get some of the cream? Did he get some of the cream? I mean, healing up in 4 or 5 months. I mean, I'm sorry, 11 weeks. What is it? Has it been 11 weeks from an injury that normally takes 4 or 5 months? That's kind of crazy. Maybe he wasn't as injured as we initially thought. But as far as him playing, I just kind of question what's the Jets' motivation right now. I think they're probably 1 or 2 losses away from being totally out of playoff contention. So what is the purpose of having him? Now, if you want to have him in the building, you want to have him practicing, you want to get him, if you're going to keep the OC there, you want to have him, you know, get indoctrinated with the offense, maybe build some chemistry with some guys. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? But actually putting him out there where he may not have the mobility that he once had, he may be somewhat compromised, if you will. And that offensive line is bad. So, I mean, them young boys getting hit out there. I don't know if this 40-year-old man is ready to, you know what I'm saying, take that hit to that Achilles this quickly. So interested to see if he plays any games. I would probably just sit him out and maybe try to build some chemistry and momentum for next year, but I wouldn't put him out there.
That's to answer your question, C. Henry.
Very new. Very new. He knew. He got the cream and the shot. He was getting the cream and the shot. Someone right.
Look, someone right. DC, what do you think?
I'm just gonna be completely honest and straightforward to the point. I love the characteristics. I love the storytelling of what Aaron Rodgers is trying to do with an injury that C. Henry said usually takes 4 to 5 months. Achilles ain't no joke. It is not no joke. I just feel like this Jets team is trying to be, well, clearly it were, trying to be too dependent on Aaron Rodgers to fix everything, knowing that there are a lot of deficiencies within this offense, and that goes to play caller and some of the personnel and some of the players on the team. The offensive line is not there where it's supposed to be. I can't even name the wide receiver 2 for the Jets. And I can't even name the tight ends. Really, all they got is Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. Can you win like that? I find that truly hard to believe. They do have a good defense, but the offense has a lot of problems with Aaron Rodgers and without Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, hey, like Henry said earlier, Shula might be out of a job. We don't know because again, you know, probably getting prepared to probably play one more year with Aaron Rodgers, but we got to look at it. The Jets paid a lot of money for this man, a lot of money. So they're all for letting him, do whatever what he want to do to get their money's worth. But again, if he comes out and he doesn't look right, then I know what's up. But if he comes out, I'm just gonna say whatever them shrooms he's on, I'm gonna need him to start sharing with some other people because I need some people.
And I think that's what it is, man. He tired of being in the hole by himself. You know what I'm saying? His girlfriend probably tired of seeing him at home this much. Usually he out there practice all day. He want to be around the guys, man. He just want to be around the guys, man. He don't want to be doing shrooms in a dark room no more by himself. So he ready to get out there, but be careful, young man, because shoot, we in about the same age bracket. So I'm a little older, but listen, man, we starting to break down.
I'm dead. Me starting to crack. All I know is I said yesterday. I said Brady probably walking around in his house just clicking and clacking and clicking and clacking. Every time he gets up, elbow go click, clack, click, like he just pop locking and dropping it right now.
He doing the Chris Brown around there.
he kind of run it. All right, let me see. It was really the same situation when he was with the Packers. Like, yeah, that's true. That's true.
He had offensive line though. He felt comfortable behind that offensive line. He had a couple decent tackles. They looking real bad over there.
Exactly. All right, we're coming up to our last two tops before we get into this week's 13 slate. Now, this is the time where we're going to talk about the top three teams in the NFC and the AFC. After all the way up until this point of week 13, who's still showing out, who still got it, and who we gonna be looking for. So go ahead, DC, what we working with? Hold on, did you put it up? Nope. Hold on, do you got it, DC?
Yeah, you were asking about the top three teams. I hate that top two teams. It changes every week.
It changes every week.
All right. NFC, I'm gonna go number 3. I'm gonna say Jesus Christ. I gotta show y'all something, dude. It's so disgusting. I gotta show y'all this. So y'all know I'm a teacher. I got a kid, diehard Cowboy fan. Lost the game Thursday. This is the nastiest thing I ever gotten as a teacher, bro.
Ew.
This is nasty, yo.
That's worse than me.
Ask that young man what he need to get one of those in maize and blue, man. I tell him I'll send him the money. Get you one of them maize and blue, dog. Ask him, dog, for real.
Oh my God, bro. What?
Send me his cash out. We'll make that happen.
I
send a little extra just for him. Send a little extra. You get him a little something. You get him some wings, some mambo sauce, and some rice.
We're not doing these things. We're not doing these things like that. But look, I'm gonna say the Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna say number 3. I will have the 49ers number 2. I understand, they have everything right now, but I'm going on based on just top record, and they just win games. It may not be the way they won last year, but Philadelphia is the cream of the crop in the NFC. Until this game Sunday will tell me a lot between these two teams. Purdy got hurt last year, so I'm expecting a different outcome, and I'm expecting a playoff level, high intensity type game in the link. AFC. Oh my God, that's AFC a nasty.
Yes, AFC is a mess.
Whew. We still think Kansas City the top team in there?
They in the top 3. Shit.
Yeah, they definitely in the top 3, but are they the cream of the crop is the question.
Is there a cream of the crop? Or is it just a crop?
Well, if my family roots ever taught me, my great granddad, he was a farmer. You gotta find the best corn out there.
Gotta find the best corn out there.
Gotta find the best corn out there, man. I'm not gonna do no order, but I'm gonna say Baltimore, Kansas City. The third team, I would probably have to give it to Jacksonville. Although I'm still curious about them. They kind of but
They're doing what they need to do. They're doing what they need to do. I can't hate on that. I can't hate on that.
All right, Henry, your turn.
I'm gonna start in the AFC because again, it's hard. I don't know if there's a cream of the crop or what, but I'm gonna go KC because I Mahomes until somebody knocks them off, they there. I like their defense. Baltimore, man, I really am trying to really get Lamar to get a ring, man. That Mark Andrews injury was a big injury, but I like the way he's been playing, and I like the way the weapons that he has. Again, they're gonna have to work Isaiah Likely into the mix a little bit more. That defense is strong. So they're my number 2 team. And number 3, man, I'm gonna go with Miami. I know they ain't really beat nobody, but hell, who else over there done beat somebody? Besides, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with Miami and Tua and Tyreek and them because I feel like during the playoffs, and I don't know if they're gonna win it. They're gonna win the division, I believe. They're gonna, possibly have a home game. A lot of teams don't want to see them. A lot of teams don't want to see them offensively, and a lot of teams don't want to see that heat, man. They want to try to get out the cold, but they don't want to see that heat when it's really going down in the playoff game. So I'm gonna go with Miami right now, but it's fluid though. It's fluid. NFC, it's fluid. It's fluid. The NFC, I got a 1A and a 1B. I'm gonna go Philly and I'm gonna go San Francisco. And basically, whoever wins this game is gonna get the number 1 spot for me. Number 3, I got to go with Dallas right now. They're winning ball games. They're playing at a high level. They're blowing everybody out that they should blow out. Seattle is going to be a good game tonight. They are currently in the playoff race, so not mid, but kind of mid. But Dallas is my number 3 team in the NFC.
Okay, all right. So NFC for me, straight in order: Eagles, 49ers. You got to give it to Dallas. Honorable mention Detroit Lions. I just need y'all to start showing y'all dominance.
We shaky right now.
Yeah,
We need to get our stuff together, man. We gotta have Harbaugh go get him a pep talk or something because we got Dan doing the dumb stuff, offense looking crazy. Golf look like he got this butter on the ball. We looking shaky right now. We got to get it together, baby.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna put on my Emmanuel Hudson. It's real shaky. AFC. I'm saying the same sentiments. And just like Meat said, as long as the Chiefs have Mahomes, it's hard to knock them off. I got to put them at number 1. I'm gonna go them. I'm going to go Jacksonville because they're showing some type of strength, and then I'm gonna go put Baltimore at number 3 because I just feel like Baltimore still has a little bit to improve for that. And then honorable mention is the Dolphins. The Dolphins kind of fell off for me a little bit, so that's just how I feel right now. But who can say by the end of the time it's going to happen? So we are going to get into this week 13 slate. And DT, I know that okay, good. There we go. We're gonna get into this week 13 schedule. Yes, Hunty love. All right, we're gonna start. Well, yeah, let's start with this game because this game is about to come on. Well, this game is actually already on. Let's start with this game between the Seattle Seahawks and them Dallas Cowgirls. I don't call them what their name is when they play. I try to put and sprinkle some hatred on them so they can lose. So, DT, while Henry's gone really quick, DT, what are your thoughts on this game tonight?
This is I understand, Seattle they're not really at the same level as some of the teams that they have played so far, but this is the opportunity for Dallas to finally probably get that monkey off the back. Everybody's talking about they haven't beaten a team with a winning record. So Seattle comes in 6-5, trying to chase a playoff spot, a wild card spot in the NFC playoffs, especially a weak conference right now with a lot of the teams kind of down. You already know I despise the Cowboys, and where's that sign? I'm gonna spit on that sign. Nasty sign. But I'm rooting for Seattle because I despise them, but I just feel like Dallas is about to catch fire when it matters. And Philly is about to head their tough stretch. They got a couple games before they play them again. That game's going to be huge in terms of where Philly's going to be at when they meet Dallas and who wins the NFC East championship and the number one seed to have home field advantage in the NFC playoffs. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys tonight.
Okay. I want to pick against them, hopefully, but I know if my my plan in my head goes right, that means if I do pick Cowboys, they may lose. So I'm gonna pick the Cowgirls to win tonight. Even though I'm trying to see if this works, if I pick them, will the Seattle Seahawks win? So that's gonna be my thought process for that. So I'm picking the Dallas Cowgirls. Again, like you said, DT, they have really caught heat. They're really catching fire right now. Dak is actually looking pretty good going right now. So if they're catching the right temperature and getting the right things that they need to get done, this is going to be a very dangerous team when it comes down to the playoffs. If they can make it past round one, that's a big if. But go ahead, Henry. What did your pick about the game?
Listen, man, I'm a Cowboy fan tonight, man. I got Dak going, you know what I'm saying, and a couple of my leagues, and I got to go with Dak tonight. They hot, they doing their thing, man. We need 4 touchdowns from Dak. Okay. 304, at least 303.
Okay.
So I got a real quick question. Mm-hmm. So if Dallas win these stretches and then they meet Philly, NFC East championship on the line, number one seed. If Dak pulls that off, he MVP?
That's a very good question, DT. And I've been watching my girl. I love my girl. I love me some Joy Taylor. I love me some Joy Taylor. Hallelujah. Yes, Lord. But anyhow, she been kind of anti-Dak a little bit, but she kind of backed off of a little bit today. And she said if he can't, just like to your point, if he comes through this stretch putting up the numbers that he has been putting up and they win, because yesterday or a couple of days ago she was saying that basically that he doesn't win enough, blase split. I think he can be, because I think when you look at the MVP race, nobody statistically is really running away with it. Philly's winning, they're doing well, but now I shouldn't say that because my man did just have 5 touchdowns. But again, though, it's looking a little rough around the edges. Same thing with yes, Lord bless him. Same thing with Mahomes. The only person who I think is like really, really separating themselves is Tyreek Hill. But we know that this is basically a quarterback award. So if he does that and beats Philly, that's a big part of it. He's gonna have to beat Philly. He's gonna have to beat somebody of consequence. Buffalo is kind of, they're kind of Detroit, unfortunately, we got a good record, but people are kind of falling off our bandwagon a little bit, saying that we frauds or whatever, and that's fine. But Philly game, he win the Philly game, putting up these numbers, he's squarely in the race.
Yeah, I can see it. We'll see, because that'll be something that the Cowboy fans are just gonna eat at this point. So
after a year,
they'll take anything, an MVP, second round win. I mean, definitely take a Super. We all take a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? They'll take anything.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Jerry's at that last little moment. Just saying, just throwing that out there. All right, we're going to go over to the Chargers and the Patriots. Now, this is a tale of 2 teams who are struggling like hell this season. Seriously struggling like hell. This is going to be a struggle game. Yes. Who do you have picking on this one? I know this one's going to be quick. This is a struggle game. But who are you guys picking between the Chargers and the Patriots? Go ahead, DT.
I want to pick Chargers, but for some reason, evidence shows every time I pick the Chargers, they always choke or Stanley does something absolutely stupid at the end of the game. But the Patriots are bad, bro. Yo, the Patriots are bad. Oh, my God. I'm going to say the Chargers, but I'm going to regret it because I know something stupid is going to happen. Like, he's going to go on 4th and 20. Like, that's how stupid he is.
I'm going to tell you this, man. The Patriots are bad. We should have talked a little bit about Bill Belichick and our coaching situation, because This is all his doing. He the GM, he the coach, he everything. So all these whack players, these whack quarterbacks that they have, the lack of receivers, that's all his doing. He didn't go and get nobody in free agency. Besides Juju, he didn't draft nobody. Taekwon, I forgot who his last name. That wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? He was probably a 4th or 5th round pick. You took him in the 2nd round. That wasn't it. So it's all on him. But I'm gonna tell you what, I think he's still a lot of the leeway to walk away if he wants to. But I think if the Chargers take a bad loss this week, we might see Staley fired next week. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers, man. I'm gonna go with the Chargers in a career, not a career, job saving win.
Job saving win. I'm actually gonna go with the Patriots. I don't have belief. I don't believe in the Chargers. I'm with DC. I didn't pick them a couple of times, and they have disappointed me every time. And they just look lost. They really do. They look lost. Justin Herbert don't look like the high. Well, I'm not gonna say the highest paid. The 2nd highest paid QB. He does not look like that. It looks like he's just struggling over there, and they're doing so silently. That's the thing that concerns me. Is like it's done silent. Unless you're really paying attention to the Chargers, we don't talk about them enough. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Patriots. I think I think Bill Belichick is gonna ring something around, because if you're talking about his job is up, I think this has to be a job saving game too as well for him as well to do that. So we're gonna skip over this next row of games because this is 2 games with that. We're gonna say that for last. Cardinals versus Steelers. I'm gonna go throw my pick out there. I'm going Steelers. Mike Tomlin always finds some way to win. I'm not going. Yeah, Kyler Murray is not gonna be able to hang with that, and Mike Tomlin always finds a way to win. So Steelers, black and yellow.
I'll be the opposite. I mean, I'm still going with the Steelers, but I think that game's gonna be closer. Like, for some reason, the Cardinals team plays very hard for Gannon, and I see this. I still have kind of some questions with the Steelers offense. They did throw for 400 yards, but now it's all about a repeat performance the next week against a different team, different schematics. So let's see if this new change is actually coming to fruition for the Steelers. They're a little bit more run heavy with the play action. Pat Freiermuth is helping him. He's helping me as well in fantasy. But I'm going with the Steelers on the close one.
Okay. Steelers in a close one, Henry.
I think I want to go Steelers, but I just don't know what Arizona's trying to do. They got Kyler out there. He playing. Are you trying to keep Kyler? Are you trying to tank? What's going on? That I'm not sold on that offense yet. But I'm gonna go, like you said, Tomlin just keeps on winning. This is the Cardinals, so I'm gonna go with the Steelers in this one. Close game though.
Close game. Okay. Close game. I think it's a close game. All right, we got the Colts in Tennessee, AFC South Division rivalry this week. So we got the Colts, we got Tennessee. I think the Colts won last week, if I'm not mistaken. And then Tennessee just beat up on the poor little kitty cats down there in North Carolina. So what are we thinking?
Wait a minute now, hold on. Not beat up on the kitty cat. Wait a minute now.
Hey, first of all, you know their slogan is "Keep Pounding." I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. That's a good game. That's a good game, man. Because we got Jonathan Taylor. Looks like he's gonna be out for this game with the thumb injury. We got Gardner Minshew at the quarterback spot. Been showing himself, putting himself pretty well there. The Colts, man, surprising. I think they're the number 7 seed right now in the AFC, so they're in the playoff race. So this is a game that means something to them. The Will Levis, DeAndre Hopkins, Derrick Henry kind of trifecta. I'm shaky on it, so I think this is going to be a good game, though. I'm gonna go with the Colts, man. Surprisingly, I just think that Tennessee has a little bit of a challenge offensively with Will Levis at the helm. I'm going to go with Gardner Minshew and them. Give me the Colts. Close game. 24-21, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with the Colts as well. I trust in the Minshew magic. I still like Levis, Hopkins, Henry. Yeah, but I still need somebody. Excuse me. I still need somebody else in that group. Maybe Uchonku, the tight end that came out of Maryland a couple years ago. I need somebody else to help out. But I just like what the Colts have done in year one under Shane Steichen. And they 7th seed right now, so they're going to be a fun team to watch if they get to playoffs, come playoff time.
7th seed with Jonathan Taylor being hurt most of the year, Shaquille Leonard now being cut, Anthony Richardson not playing. I mean, they looking all right. That's a good coaching job going on over there. We need to maybe have him in the Coach of the Year candidate.
Could be. I'm thinking the same sentiments. I think the Colts gonna go down there, good old to Tennessee, to Nashville, Tennessee, and do what they need to go ahead and go do. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Colts. Like I said, I'm very shocked about this division, even with the Texans. A lot of people kind of wrote off the Texans. A lot of Colts fans kind of didn't believe that the Colts were going to do anything. A lot of people thought that this was really Tennessee's division. I did hear a lot of people say this was going to be Tennessee's division, especially with them picking up DJ Hopkins. And they got Derrick Henry, a freaking linebacker as a running back. And then again, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars who didn't start off so hot. So it was looking towards Tennessee's way. So yeah, I think Tennessee is going to have to kind of look at their roster going into this offseason and picking that back up. So again, like I said, we're going to skip the Washington and say that for the end. We got the Broncos going down to good old Texas, going to H-Town. Broncos been catching some good little heat. They starting to play for little Sean Payton now. So Henry, what you thinking about this game? CJ Stroud versus Russell.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you what I think this is gonna be a good game. Potential for a lot of points to be scored in this game. Both offenses are kind of been doing it. Russ, man, you know what? You know what I'm saying? I heard Deuce talk real bad about Russ last year. He talked real bad about him. You know what I'm saying? Russ then came back, lost about 15, 20 pounds. It looked real skittish when you watch him, though. It don't look smooth like it is in Seattle. So he doing his thing, but it's like a shooketh out there. It ain't really, it's slightly shook. It's looking real kind of raggedy, ragtag, but he getting it done. I'm really want to see what CJ Stroud can do because again, they're awesome in the playoff race right now, 6-5, winning record. D'Amico Ryans, Stroud's got a great group of weapons down there. Denver's been playing some pretty good defense and have a solid, very, very solid secondary with Surtain as well as the safety Justin Simmons. So I'm eager to see how this game kind of works out. This is a tough one. It's a pick'em game. My heart is saying Denver, but my mind is saying Denver, but my heart is saying watch Houston in this one. Houston's at home, so I'm gonna go with Houston in this game.
H-Town, stay down. What you thinking, DC?
Yeah, Denver has definitely caught fire past couple months. Russell Wilson really has had a silently good season. And Texans have been one of the biggest surprises this year with CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans, the job he has done in Houston. I just feel like that game last week with the Texans, they had a chance to win that, man. So I think they're going to get some redemption this week and take it out on the Denver Broncos in a close one. I got the Texans winning.
Yeah, the Texans winning. I actually kind of think this is a rebound game. The Texans lost a really, 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 really close one last week. You can see the disappointment in CJ Stroud's face of just they knew they had that game won in the bag and the kind of losing on the last second doink. For real. I think that they're actually gonna kind of bounce back and kind of want this game against the Broncos. So I do. I am going Houston. First of all, I'm still trying to figure out what Deuce said. No, they said he's the new Alex Smith. Sean has him checking down and running the ball to old Russ, not let Russ cook, but make a PB check.
Now we gotta let Gino cook.
Ain't nothing wrong with a PB and J.
Ain't nothing wrong with PB and J, baby. I'm dead. I'm dead. All right, we're gonna make a quick swift of this one because it is Carolina versus the Bucks. Again, this is two teams that are not looking so shabby this year. Between the Panthers, like we talked about earlier, the Panthers are going through a very bad coaching carousel over there. Fire half of their coaching staff already in the middle of the season. So I'm make my pick. I'm going Bucks, even though I don't want to, but I am going Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. I like that pick. I'm right there with you. I need Baker Mayfield to do something, I'm saying, something special for me this week. He's been, really, really getting Michael Evans involved. I need to get my man Chris Godwin involved, man. He done fell off the edge of the earth. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going there too. I think Rashad White is going to be a lot for that team to handle. And I also think that Carolina, them firing their coach, it's either can go one or two ways, man. You can either be in blazing, or you can start setting up, your trips in your off season, the Bahamas, Turks, all that good stuff. And something tells me that they're going to be going fishing. So I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay as well.
Going fishing. They're gonna be fishing with them sharks. So they got them sharks in the bay too. ET, what's up? What you thinking?
Oh, while you were talking, I said it like 12 times. I said Bucks.
Oh, you said Bucks? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, my bad. Look, DC said get it out the way. All right.
Yeah, out the way.
Browns and the LA Rams. What are we thinking, Henry? This one, I feel like this is going to be a battle of the defense. What y'all thinking? I really feel like that. I really feel like it's going to be a battle of the defense.
This one here is a parlay killer for me. I don't know which way to go, so I'm gonna try to stay away from it. I don't know who's starting that quarterback for the Browns. I need to hear more about that. I think DTR is in concussion protocol. I think that they said that Joe Flacco was getting some first team reps. I don't know about the PJ Walker kid. And we look at the LA, they won last week. Kyron Williams made a huge impact for that team. But Cooper Kupp looks a little bit beat up. Stafford's coming off an injury. It's in LA. I'm gonna go with the home team here, LA, but this is a tough game. It can go either way. And again, Cleveland's got that great defense, so definitely watch for a couple turnovers.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this is a tricky game. I am curious about a quarterback situation. To me, I think they're going to lean on starting Joe Flacco. The defenses are going to be flying around. I will probably trust a little bit more on Matthew Stafford in this game at home, LA, 4:00 kickoff. I'm taking the Rams at a close one.
Okay. I really do think it's going to be a Rams and a close one. Like I said, I think this is going to be the battle of defenses going on with both of them. Again, the Browns don't have their starting quarterback, and then you got an aging Matt Stafford, over there with the Rams right now. So yeah, I do agree it's going to be a close one, and I'm going with the Rams. I really kind of want to say, okay. So we're coming down to like these last little stretch, these last two games. I'm really going to switch over to KC and Green Bay because I really want to say the thoughts on this San Francisco and Eagles game. So yes, KC and Green Bay. I really feel like this one is going to be close. To be honest with you, Green Bay really showed something. They showed something last week, so I think this one is going to be a little bit close than what they think it is. But I'm still going to Chiefs. I still say the Chiefs pull it out.
Green Bay has definitely been playing pretty good. Definitely improved. We did help him out. We gave him a scoop and score. We also, Dan went for a fake punt on his own 22-yard line. I don't know what he was thinking. He went super duper aggressive for no reason. We were only down by 9 points with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. But with that being said, I think again it's going to be in Green Bay. It's going to be cold. Kansas City, it gets cold there, but it's going to be a night game as well. I think Kansas City is starting to figure some things out offensively. I like what Rashee Rice has been doing. Justin Watson has been okay, and with Kelsey, Pacheco, man, kind of blew up last week. So I'm giving it to I think Kansas City wins this game 27-20.
Okay. DC?
Yeah. So for all the things that's happened with this Green Bay team, there's definitely some things to like about the group that they're growing. I like the defense. I like the young receivers and weapons they have. And Jordan Love, he's slinging it. He's slinging that pill, man. But it's going to be in Lambeau, Kansas City, on the road. And I think it's supposed to be snowing this game too. But either way, it's going to be. We talking about Lambeau. We talking about cheese. Something's telling me to go to Green Bay, man. But I'm just going to go Kansas City.
Okay, he said Texans going Green Bay. I mean, like I said, it's going to be a close game. Green Bay shows something. I really do. They show something.
I think there's definitely some things that Green Bay can match up well and provide some problems for Kansas City.
Yeah, I do. The way Kansas is still trying to figure out their wide receiver, I really see that. Green Bay's defense is not in the punks. They're not punks out there, to be honest with you. So I really feel like they're going to kind of give Patrick Mahomes problems, but I still think that they're going to come out with that W.
I will say this as a small caveat. Aaron Jones hasn't practiced this week. If he somehow can be available for this game, and Jair, I can't think of his last name. There we go, the cornerback. If those two guys play, this game could get real interesting for Green Bay.
Okay, yeah, this is really gonna get really interesting. Like I said, I'm saving the San Francisco and Eagle game for the last. But Bengals and the Jaguars. Who do y'all have?
I'm gonna go with Jacksonville. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville on this one. Not just because, but I think the Burrow injury kind of took a little bit of the wind out of the sails of the Bengals. But Browning did look good. I'm hearing that T. Higgins is gonna play in this game.
Okay.
They got enough skill position players to make it very interesting. If you're going to defeat the Jaguars, you got to attack their secondary. But I think this is going to be a good game, close game. But I'm going with Jacksonville Jaguars. I need Trevor to have a big game this week.
DT.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Jacksonville. It's really gonna be hard. This game, some of these games definitely would have been so great if injuries don't happen, but injuries are part of the game. Joe Burrow's not going to be in this game. I'm taking Jacksonville at home, but I do like Bengals defense. I think the Bengals will provide some ways to keep the game close until Jacksonville starts to pull away just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. I mean, like I said, Jacksonville has to catch some steam. They have to. I think they were on everybody's preseason list as the one that was coming out of the South, and that they were going to make a real deep playoff run. Even some people were even coning Trevor Lawrence as the MVP for the season. So Jacksonville has to come away with this game. So I am going Jacksonville with this one. This is a must win for them to kind of keep. I'm not going to say keep the playoff hopes, but to keep that momentum going for the playoffs because they're going to need it. They're really gonna need that. So let's start. Let's start with this. We're gonna start with Detroit versus the Saints. I am going Detroit Lions. Saints are not doing anything. We beat them. So yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Shout out to Derek Carr. Thank you for that pick.
Tough game for us. Hopefully, it's a bounce back game for us. I'm not gonna underestimate almost said the Rams. The Saints. It's a little bit of a homecoming game. Dan Campbell coached down there for a couple years. Aaron Glenn was coaching down there for a couple years. And Zaloni came from there, but I think he's injured. He's not going to play in this game. And they've got a couple of things that give us problems, which is Alvin Kamara coming out of the backfield. Our linebackers don't really do a great job matching up with receivers in space. I'm sorry, receivers and or running backs in space. So that's going to be a key matchup for us. Saints are very banged up. I don't know the availability of Chris Olave right now. I think also Rashid Shaheed is kind of dealing with some stuff. So they're down a couple of receivers. This is kind of similar. Cam Jordan's not playing?
No, I said Cam Jordan got hurt last week too. So I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. Okay. See, I'm not up on that. So with all that being said, it kind of sounds like Green Bay last week. They were kind of beat up, not really expected to beat us, but they beat us. So we got to take everything with a grain of salt. We got to take this team seriously. It's on the road. Our margin for error is small, but we win this game probably 24-20.
Okay. DT?
Yeah, it's home game for the Saints. Detroit on the road. Saints are reeling. Derek Carr is getting all these wide receivers hurt or getting them going crazy. Defense a little bit slightly old in the tooth. It's at home for the Saints, and those games definitely provide an environment for the Detroit Lions. I think they're going to handle the challenge well, but I can see this game going to overtime. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think Detroit's going to come out with a win, but It's going to be very close, very close, very, very close.
Child, look, I'm just gonna say like this, Henry. If your Detroit Lions make it close, and my Falcons sit over there and did what they did, me and you gonna have a little off-camera conversation.
Styles make fights, man. Styles make fights, man. And again, I told Deuce, man. Got the young boys going down to New Orleans. Some of them ain't never been to New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? They don't get in that French Quarter the night before that game. We got to hope they wake up on time and be, sober down there, man. So and it's a very, very large contingent of Detroit fans going down there. They've really, really circled this game on their schedule. I got about 4 of my homeboys going down there. If I wouldn't have my little health issue, I would have been down there. But I'm gonna chill out. But it's important that we take this game seriously and we show up on Sunday, man, and don't turn the ball over, please.
Exactly. We could skip over the Falcons and the Jets. I'm going Falcons. Again, this is going to be another defense that is like us seeing the Detroit Lions. As long as Ritter don't make too many mistakes and turn over the ball, we're fine. Stick with the game plan that we did against the Saints, and we're good. So I'm just going Falcons. I'm going to pick my team all the time. So
I'm going to go with the Falcons in this game too. Tim Boyle, I'm not really impressed with him. I will say, though, that defense from the Jets is impressive. Breece Hall is dealing with some type of hamstring issue as well. And to DT's point, they pretty much have Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. Tim Boyle can get them the ball. And if they can protect them, I think it'll be an interesting game. But I think this is a game where, you start to get a rock to Bijan. It's going to be cold. He's the running back. Help Ritter out, get him involved in the passing game, get him involved in the running game, and also get your big receivers involved. You ain't got to throw it 40 times. But when you do throw it to them accurately and let them make plays.
Exactly. DT?
Yeah, give me Atlanta. I mean, I trust Desmond Ritter more than Tim Boyle and that whole offense they got going on in New York, New Jersey, whatever you are. Gang Green. Give me Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta. All right. Dolphins and Washington Commanders. I'm sorry, DT. I gotta go to Dolphins.
I said it like 5 times. Talking Dolphins.
DT said, "I don't want to talk about it." Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Dolphins too. Dolphins. Big.
I got Tyreek Hill on my fantasy team.
Me too. I got him at two, so that's why I said big. With little Waddle too. So yeah, big.
Cook us, please, Lord.
You said cook. They ready to get rid of Ron. Last but not least, I did say this game for last because this is going to be a big one. I feel like this game is going to be for the seating of number 1 in the NFC, to be honest with you. So this is the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. San Francisco is making that good 6-hour flight out there to the East Coast to play the Eagles at their home turf. Again, the Eagles are finding ways to be great at this point in time. They are on a legit roll. They're on the back half of their schedule where this is a gauntlet for them. This is going to be a game that, like I said, to determine the NFC champions, the NFC rankings. To be honest with you, let's be real. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be up there, but this is going to be between these two because of their schedule in the seating. So I'm gonna start with you, Henry. Who do you got out of these two?
Man, this is the game of the week. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I have a hard time picking because I feel like Philadelphia is on a mission. They've played some very good teams. They've won some big games. San Francisco has looked dominant the whole season. The San Francisco people could be on a mission as well because they want to prove to everybody that the reason they lost last year is because they lost their quarterback. I think the weather is going to be a factor, like you said. It's a 6-hour flight for San Fran to the link, and it's going to be cold on Sunday night. So very interesting to see how this goes. I mean, my mind is saying Philly. I'm sorry, really, my heart is saying Philly, but the team that has probably looked the best on paper is probably San Fran. But I'm gonna give Jalen the nod here. If we talk about him as the possible NFL MVP, these are games that he has to win. He has to show up well in this game. Again, San Fran looks like a juggernaut. San Fran wins this game. They're very much in play for the number 1 seed because I think they're down by 2 games now. That'll be 1 game with 5 to go. if Philadelphia wants to, have a little bit of a cushion, they got to win this game. So I'm gonna go Philly. But this is a toss up right here.
Exactly. This is really gonna be one of those games. DT, what do you think? This is one of your division rivals. So
Yep. This game holds probably the biggest amount of weight for this season for the Philadelphia Eagles, for the Dallas Cowboys, and for the 49ers and the rest of the NFC. If the 49ers come in and do what they're supposed to do with a healthy Purdy, they're the team to beat. They get them on seed. The seeding is going to matter so much for the NFC. Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of teams that, even though you can say what you want about Dallas, Dallas at home right now, it's a scary team to look at. And Philadelphia, they got some things they need to fix. Second behind the Commanders with most touchdown passes given up with 23. I'm really interested. I'm going to be locked in this game because if Philadelphia wins this game, like I said, the same stuff I said for the 49ers. However, 49ers win this game, this helps Dallas because the next time they meet, it's going to be in Big D.
Yep.
That's going to be the NFC East Championship. Prime time. Buckle your seatbelts. But for some reason, man, I despise Jalen Hurts when we play him. But he's a fun guy to watch. I got Philadelphia winning.
Yeah, Philadelphia winning. Again, I'm gonna say the same little sentiments. Navy ship Rivera about to show out. Okay, dude still has faith. But I'm gonna say this. This is really gonna come down, especially for the 49ers quarterback play. We all know they got Kyle Shanahan. He's gonna do a lot of things to get a lot of people owed him, but it's gonna be really heavily involved on Brock Purdy. No, like can't be making costly turnovers. Have to secure the ball, make sure that he's doing everything in his possible. They're going to have to get a lot of people involved. They need games from CJ McCaffrey. They need Kittle, Ayuk. They need everybody on their P's and Q's with this because, again, yes, to me, the Eagles defense has not been that strong defense as we all thought that they were going to be. Jalen Hurts has not looked like the Jalen Hurts that we seen last season, even though he has been still playing spectacular. He's still throwing interceptions. He's still doing a lot of things. And then he's still, sometimes not getting AJ Brown involved. Sometimes their wide receivers are not being on the same page as him. DeAndre Swift is showing out, but you can't run the ball so many times. You need to have that balanced offense, especially with them. So it's going to be a lot of small nitpicking key things in this game for it to go right. I am going to call for the Eagles, but I am going to say this is going to be really, 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 really close. I mean, like field goal at the end of the game close. Maybe overtime if it, depending on weather, if it rains, 'cause I think it's supposed to rain up there in the Northeast. Because we're experiencing real cold weather down here in Georgia. So I know for a fact it's ample cold up there, but again, it's going to be a lot for them. So we're gonna see.
Let me ask you guys this a real quick question. How do you guys feel about like a tone setter? Like does a win for either one of these teams at this juncture set the tone for the playoffs for a possible matchup for them later on? Or is it just one regular season game that hey, whatever?
No, I think it's gonna set the tone for them to be they're gonna see each other again. I don't think this is the end for them.
I agree. I just these teams they're so talented, and you look at their schedule. Even though Philly does have the tougher schedule, even with the tougher schedule, Philly is 10-1 right now. And it's not pretty ball and stuff, but some way somehow they find a way to come back and be mentally tough and win these games. And meanwhile, the 49ers, I think 49ers have actually got a benefit for losing a couple of those games because, early in the year, I was talking about I want to see what Brock Purdy looks like when he faces adversity. And I think he's so far answered that challenge. Now He gets a chance to play and finish a game against a team that he got knocked out last year in the NFC Championship, had a shot to get the 49ers in the Super Bowl. So this is definitely a tone-setting game. This is definitely a statement game for the whole NFC and in the NFL on who has the opportunity to come out of the NFC. But I definitely see these teams either the 49ers or Dallas going to play Philly again in the playoffs. That's me.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's gonna happen. The way the NFC is set up right now, the way kind of how the teams are playing out, these two are more than likely going to see each other, or the Cowboys and the Eagles are going to see each other again. So the NFC championships are playoffs are going to be very spectacular. It's going to be very fun to see. I just feel like the AFC is just going to be right now until they figure some things out over there. But NFC, I think we can already see the picture of who is going to be in the playoffs right now as we're starting to wind down the season. So we're pretty much almost there. NFL is almost over, y'all.
Oh man, I'm getting sad. Man. It went so fast.
It's winding down right now. It really is. So I know we're running down. I know DT, you said you wanted to say something, get something off your chest. So before we do that, I'm going to say thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for being here. We pretty much appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. I know we kind of went a little long today, but we kind of missed last week too. We making up.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we're making up. So I'm going to go ahead and let DT go ahead and get it off his chest of what he got to say.
Look, I need people to listen. I've been watching this team since 2007. I grew up late with the college football thing, and the first team I watched was Ohio State and Navy, with Terrell Pryor, Jim Pressel as coach. And, once I started to feel like Ohio State was my team, I started to watch the history. Love the helmets, love the players, the legacy, the marching band, the mascot, the Heisman Trophy winners. But nothing made it more exciting than realizing you're a fan of one of the most storied programs is when you have a storied rival, and that's the University of Michigan. And I stand before you as my team has lost for a third straight year, and I ask myself, is this what it feels like? Does this what it feels like, Michigan fans, when we were beating you guys for almost 10 to 12 straight years back to back to back? Does this how it feel? Because this is miserable. This is absolutely miserable. I mean, oh my God, I'm starting to lose my hair. I'm losing my mind. I don't even think, half of the time, I don't even think about the Commanders. I think about this game. And for this generation of players to disrespect the game like this, that's where I have a problem. For them not to be locked in, that's when I have a problem. When Kyle McCord comes out and say it's just another football game, are you serious? Are you for real? This is not just a football game. This is a way of life. This is you bleed it, you breathe it. You wake up in the morning and you have nightmares about it because you know they're coming. You're not going to tell me this is just another game. The next time I hear that, as quoted by former players, I'm going to lose my mind. We need to get this program back to what it's supposed to be. Physically tough and mentally tough. These players are not mentally tough, bro. I'm sorry. I usually don't question a lot of people's toughness and their character, but you guys do more TikToks than punching somebody in the mouth. And I saw that in 2021 when Cameron Brown was fighting literally the whole offensive line by himself and nobody came to defend him. I heard that when my quarterbacks are talking about it's just another game. I see that when you guys are just doing TikToks, dancing, and not locked in. Get your head together. I need you to uphold the standard that we set. And right now, you're failing a lot of people. Ryan Day, you lost to an interim head coach. You're supposed to be the ultimate motivator. You're supposed to be the guy that replaces Urban Meyer. And you can see it. You can see it in Urban's eyes. Every time we play this team, he's sick to his stomach. Sick to his stomach. And you're just letting this stuff happen. You're not attacking. You're being conservative. Are you Jim Tressel? 35, 40, 50 points a game. You say you're supposed to hang 100 points on Michigan head. The past 3 years, they hung 100 on us. Stop it, bro. Just stop it. We might need, the same way they have a Michigan man, we might need an Ohio man back in Ohio State. I'm done.
Hey man, let me tell you something, man. Let me just tell you, I know you're a young buck and you start your history. Your history starts with Tressel. But let me tell you something, brother. Even with y'all running off 7 or 8 straight, we still up in this rivalry 9 games. So with your run, y'all was down 18 games. So before you start asking about is this what Michigan feel like, y'all been felt this. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all been felt this, and it's time for y'all to feel it again. Welcome back. Welcome back, DT, young boy. Welcome back, baby. This is how it's always been. See you later, alligator. Peace, love, and hair grease, baby.
Yes, I'm not going to play with these two in this rival. All I'm going to say is shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs. See y'all this weekend. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. We'll see y'all next week.